What's going on YouTube? Next video, coach of your Montreal Canadiancies, here for my week 5 battle of the PUL versus AceMeister and his Black City Bisharps. That's a cool name. I don't actually know what it's based on, if anything, but it's a cool name. I really like Bisharp as a Pokemon. Oh, it's probably based on Black City from the Gen 5 games. Anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna do my team builder a little differently this week, as you guys can see by this little layout kind of thing I've created for myself in Pokemon Showdown. From now on, what I'll do is I'll have my team here, as you can see. Then I'll have the team I'm bringing, his team from fastest to slowest, but first, before I go over my team, I'm going to go over his team, which I've ordered from most likely, in my opinion, to least likely, and I'm also going to go over, like, even his least likely mons. I'm going to talk about what sets they'd be, I think, if they did come. So, let's get right into that. I think his most likely mon versus me is this Kyurem White right here. All Kyurem needs is its dual stab this game. Ice Beam and like Draco. And it hits my whole team neutrally. With just that. Looking at my team, it probably doesn't want to lock itself into any move ever. Maybe it would want to be Choice Scarfed in order to get the jump on my Zygarde, potentially tie it at +1. It speed ties with my Zygarde. And it could kill it with either of its stab moves. So a Scarf set is a possibility, but I think like a Roost Life Orb type of set is its most likely set this week. And that Turbo Blaze ability is really nice for it to just be able to easily break through my Mega Venusaur, which not many mons can and do, other than these Uber Psychic types that I seem to face every single week. The next most likely mon, I think, on AceMeister's team is this Mega Mewtwo X right here, massive threat. It's faster than my Darkrai, so off the bat, I think he'd bring like a very fast offensive Mega Mewtwo X with Zen Headbutt for sure. I think this mon as well, dual stab, just that's all it needs to break through my team. Actually, with its dual stab, we have my Hoopa, which still resists that, but it takes 1,000,000 from a Zen Headbutt, I think, because its defense is not all that high. And then Clefable as well can actually chew a couple hits from a Mega Mewtwo X. Clefable is a god, guys. Zen Headbutt still does a lot, but I'm expecting Zen Headbutt, Drain Punch, maybe even Low Kick to do a little bit more damage to Necrozma. Potentially coverage for Necrozma, like a special move, be it Fire Blast or Shadow Ball or Shadow Claw. Does it get Shadow Claw? Hold on. No, it doesn't get Shadow Claw. Okay, so Fire Blast, Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, one of those. And then coverage for my Clefable being either Iron Tail or Poison Jab. But seeing as how he wouldn't want to miss, I think he's more likely to go with Poison Jab, as there's no real other target that Iron Tail would help versus. It's super effective versus the Cryogonal, but stab moves decimate that thing anyway, fighting type moves especially. And then in his last slot, he can most likely have a setup move such as Bulk Up. And that's the Mewtwo set I'm thinking he's going to bring. Next up, we've got AceMeister's team mascot, the Bisharp, which is another mon that causes my team a lot of problems. I think he'd bring it because he's seen that I like hazard stack. I've shown that like pretty much every week in the PUL with my Excel guard that I'm bringing in again. I always like to get up hazards, and I don't have I also don't have the greatest hazard removal. Cryogonal here, although I think it's the best defogger in tier 5, unless your league allows regular Rotom, which is crazy in my opinion, to sheds to the CPL. Then this is my only hazard remover, so if he wants to get up hazards of his own, having Bisharp really discourages me from defogging, and I've shown to have problems with hazards in the past, so Bisharp puts a lot of pressure on my team just simply by being there. It's another mon whose dual stab just can do a lot versus my team. I don't have a resist to both Iron Head and knockoff / sucker punch, so a standard Bisharp set like of SD sucker punch knockoff Iron Head type of thing, I would not be too surprised to see that. Another reason I think Bisharp is really likely is because with its dark typing, it's his only psychic resist, his only resist or immunity rather to my Necrozma's Photon Geyser. So you'll see I'm going to abuse that later on. Now, these last three I'd like to group together because I think these are his most likely momentum gaining mons. All three of these Pokemon can carry U-turn or Volt Switch. In Zapdos's case, it gets both. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if it ran both this week. Let's talk about the Zapdos quick actually. I'm thinking Zapdos is going to be some kind of choice set probably, because my only ground type is Zygarde, and Zapdos can be faster than Zygarde if it runs near max speed, and it can run that HP Ice to do a lot of damage to it. So a Scarf Respects Zapdos is seeming pretty likely versus my team because of that Zygarde, and because it can Volt Switch around pretty easily versus me. It has ways to gain momentum on my Zygarde with that U-turn, and it can hit it really hard with an HP Ice. Darmanitan and Staraptor are very similar, except they're not specifically from a Zygarde, they just do amazingly versus my team. I only have a 1 or 2 resists to a Banded or Scarf, Flare Blitz / Brave Bird or something. Anyway, yeah, these mons, although Staraptor has 2 typings, that like normal and flying kind of hit the same things, so they can just lock themselves into one move, into one of their stab moves pretty safely, and either smash something and break down my walls, or gain momentum. Alright, so those are his 6 mons that I think he's gonna quote-unquote dress for this game. And now let's go over the 6 mons I think Ace will bench. So, first let's go over these 2 at the top right here, Manaphy and Ludicolo. Manaphy's one of my favorite mons. As you can see, I made that, I franchised it in the CPL, if you watch that. But if Manaphy or Ludicolo were to come this week, they'd be a defensive response to my Zygarde, I believe. Manaphy can run something like, you know what, in case I play Ace again, I'm not going to say exactly the kind of funky Manaphy spread that you would need to run to check my Zygarde effectively, because I've faced Zygardes with a Manaphy in the past, and I've had an I didn't run this set. This was in CPL. Okay, I'm gonna be specific about this. This was in CPL Season 2. I was going up against the Zygarde, and I didn't end up bringing like a totally defensive Manaphy, but I decided that if I were ever to play this particular opponent again in the playoffs, I would have a defensive Manaphy with a certain set, a certain Z move actually. Yeah, and that's all I'm gonna say really. Ludicolo is his only 1,000 arrows resist on his whole team. So a defensive Ludicolo would not surprise me too much. Just like, I don't know, max HP, bit of defense, some HP, and some speed. With most likely Ice Beam, Scald to get burns. Both of these mons would run Ice Beam and Scald, I believe. And then some form of recovery. Ludicolo could be Assault Vest because it gets recovery. Its only recovery is Giga Drain, really. And they can also run Knockoff. They could both run Knockoff. Anyway, I think that's what those two would be. Tyrantrum is his only Stealth Rocker outside of Bisharp, and like I said, I think Bisharp is either going to be like it needs SD, Knockoff, Iron Head, and Sucker Punch. Like its stab is like Bisharp's stab is really great. Sorry. Bisharp's stab is really great versus my team, and I think setting up and having priority will like maximize its usefulness, I guess. Tyrantrum is his only other rocker, basically. So I'm definitely expecting Stealth Rocks, but like outside of that, it has a hard time doing any damage to my team because it's so slow. I only have 2 mons that are slower, like that have a lower base speed than Tyrantrum, and everything else, if you look at my team, Necrozma can hit it with a Sunsteel Strike, Venusaur can live a hit and do a lot of damage with Giga Drain, Gyarados intimidates, has coverage, Hitmonlee outspeeds and kills, Zygarde outspeeds and kills, Ninetales struggles versus this mon, honestly, Koragon outspeeds and kills, Persian is bad, Darkrai is faster and does a ton of damage, Exceligor is going to be a suicide lead anyway. So I don't think Tyrantrum has the best matchup. Weezing, let's go over this Weezing. This is interesting. This is a great answer to my Hitmonlee, which I haven't brought yet and still am not bringing. This week, it can also check just general physical attackers, I guess, such as, honestly, it doesn't, yeah, Weezing doesn't do a whole lot. Oh, it's a great, oh, there it is, right, that's what I was going to say, it's a great Clefable response. Weezing is a great response to Clefable and, to an extent, Exceligor, just because it resists Bug, but I don't usually run Exceligor very offensively. But yeah, there's not a ton that Clefable can do to Weezing, so you will see that I do have a little bit of tech for this Weezing, even though I'm not really expecting it. And then these final 2 mons in Wigglytuff and Quagsire, I'm not, these are the mons I'm expecting the least, because although I haven't brought my Mega Venusaur yet, if I do, these 2 mons are dead weight. Like, these things just lose so much momentum if I have that Mega Venusaur. Maybe Quagsire is a little more likely because my opponent should know I like setup by now. Especially after this week, you'll see. And an unaware mon is always nice. Thankfully, I drafted the best one in Clefable, and that was partially. Actually, no, I didn't pick up Clefable. But anyway, and then whoever it was that I took over mid draft, they drafted a really nice setup plus unaware Steel Dragon Fairy core with a Darkrai, which like blocks Pursuit and stuff. Anyway, Awesome team. I just, and honestly, I don't. Thinking about it now, you're gonna see I'm gonna make some transactions that are effective week 7, so I'll talk about them then. But yeah, I originally thought that this was like a great team that I drafted around the first 5 picks really well, but then I started to have some doubts, and you'll see how I plan on patching those up. So finally, now that that's what I think he's gonna bring, let's go over my team. First up, we got a dual dance offensive Necrozma. I want this to be my primary win condition this week because, like I said, Bisharp is his only Photon Geyser resist, and I can just bop that thing with a Brick Break. Nothing, yeah, nothing wants to take a hit from a +2 hit from this Necrozma, 157 base attack, and the Cobra Berry to take a Sucker Punch from Bisharp, because after +2 I can outspeed everything on his team, and the only way for him to revenge kill me at that point would be some kind of Scarfer if I'm very low, or super effective priority, his only form being Sucker Punch on the Bisharp. 208 speed investment and a Jolly Nature allows me to outspeed a max speed Tyrantrum. That's what that's for. And yeah, overall, like I said, this is going to be my primary win condition. Next, let's talk about this is the first set I came up with, and I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this. It's another Magikarp Life Orb offensive Clefable. This is a lure set. It's a bold nature, max HP, 28 defense. What this lets me do is take 2 Zen Headbutts from Jolly Mega Mewtwo X, I think. So, and then with the rest in special attack, basically Moonblast is gonna OHKO Mega Mewtwo X after only 1 spike. That's all I need, just 1 spike. And then Moonblast OHKOs this thing 100% of the time. There's only, like, I don't think the roll is in my favor to kill, but there's a chance to kill, which is really nice. So this, I have Moonblast, Soft Boiled, Focus Blast, and Psychic. His only resists to Moonblast are the Wheezing, and the Bisharp isn't a resist, but if it comes in, it threatens me out. So that's why I have Focus Blast and Psychic to catch those two. Not respect, like Psychic for the Wheezing, Focus Blast for the Bisharp, obviously, and then Soft Boiled is nice recovery. Without any special defense investment, I can take any 2 hits from his Kyurem as well, provided he's not choice specs. I also live, I think, I live at least 1 Poison Jab from Mega Mewtwo X, and I live 1 Life Orb Flash Cannon from Kyurem, but if his Kyurem is specs Flash Cannon, or if his Mewtwo is running Iron Tail, then those 2 attacks, I don't necessarily live. But like I said, I'm not really expecting a set like that. Next up, we've got a sub 3 attacks Darkrai. My speed investment is for what looks... Hold on, let's look at this one more time. 329, alright, so for his base 100s, because he's got a really big gap right here, actually. You see he has his Mega Mewtwo at 130, and then 3 base 100s, 2 base 95s, and then a base 71. So he's got some interesting speed tiers, which I definitely tried to exploit. So what sub 3 attacks Darkrai allows me to do is spam Dark Pulse versus his whole team. I have Hidden Power Fighting for the Bisharp and Sludge Bomb for the, what's this mon even called? Wigglytuff, that's what it is. So those guys, and then what sub allows me to do is scout what certain mons are locked into, like if he's a Specs Kyurem, if he's a Banded Darmanitan, and anything that is choiced that is slower than those two, if they're not Scarfed, if they're Choice Band or Choice Specs, I can sub up, be faster, and find out what they lock themselves into, and then that'll allow me to switch into the appropriate measure. So that's why I preferred sub to any other kind of setup this week. Sub also allows me to dodge Sucker Punches from Bisharp, not that those are doing a ton, but just it's nice to play those mind games, and yeah, I don't have pressure. I thought I had pressure for a second. Can I have pressure? No, never mind. Alright, forget about all that. Next up, we've got our Intimidate Dragon Dance Gyarados, which I've brought quite often. This coverage, Edgequake plus Bounce, does really well versus his team. With the Rockium Z to catch that Zapdos, if you look at his team, we'll see that Water isn't the greatest because he's got a Water Absorb Mon. I don't think he has a single Pokemon weak to Water. Oh, okay, he has that Darmanitan, but that's also weak to Stone Edge or Earthquake. Earthquake is here for the Bisharp, for the Darmanitan, for the Tyrantrum as a more accurate, super effective move to hit those. Bounce does a lot of damage to Mewtwo, Ludicolo, and then Z Stone Edge to get rid of stuff like Kyurem and Zapdos. Yeah, that's pretty, not self-explanatory, just relatively straightforward coverage. And then I have this speed investment, which is designed to be a little bit faster than my Necrozma. My Necrozma hits 266, creeping that Tyrantrum, and I wanted my Gyarados to just be a little bit faster than that. Because he has such a big speed gap, he can creep my Necrozma, creeping that Tyrantrum, so I want it to be like a little faster than that. This is 3 points faster, in case of anything wild. Then we have my designated lead on this team, the nice and standard Focus Sash, Toxic Spikes, Bug Buzz, Toxic, Excelgor. Idea is to get up hazards right away. Like I said, I only really need that one spike, but his removal, honestly, is just the Zapdos, which I can Toxic, and everything else, actually, he doesn't have any Levitating mons, so Toxic, aside from the Weezing. So Toxic Spikes actually has a good matchup in this game, and I think, unless I see some really bulky mons, like the Ludicolo or the Quagsire, or like a defensive Manaphy, maybe, although that can carry Z Rain Dance, or any Rain Dance at all, and remove status, I'd probably only get up one layer of spikes in this game. One layer of Toxic Spikes rather than two, because that tends to be better versus offensive mons, which most of his team is. There's like mons without reliable recovery that can't sit on the field for too long. One Toxic Spike, one layer tends to do a little better. And my final Pokemon is this Cryogonal, which has the Freeze Dry, Ice Beam, Hidden Power Ground, Rapid Spin, Max Special Attack, Timid with enough speed for his base 100s again, and just a little bit of special bulk to potentially take a hit from Kirim, because after seeing this thing chew a hit from Palkia, I know I have a lot more trust in Cryogonal going into the rest of these games in this Uber League. So, Freeze Dry hits stuff like Manaphy, Ludicolo, Quagsire. Ice Beam is a slightly stronger stab move, doing more damage to stuff like Zapdos, Staraptor, Tyrantrum. And then Hidden Power Ground hits these two, Darmanitan and Bisharp, which are his only ice resists, it's looking like, outside of Freeze Dry. And I wanted a Scarf Cryogonal because I didn't have a Scarfer otherwise, and its speed tier is really nice this game. I can abuse that gap that I mentioned earlier. My stream is lagging. My music stream. It's been having problems lately, that's annoying. Alright, yeah, so there's only one Mon that outspeeds this. So actually with the Scarf, because he has a Mega as his fastest Pokemon, this Cryogonal outspeeds his whole team. And I can pick off stuff with that nice ice coverage. Alright, so that's gonna be that's gonna be my team. And we're gonna hop straight into the battle versus AceMeister and his Black City Bisharps. Okay, you guys, we're back with the game, and we can see that Ace brought everything I was expecting really from the top 6, except he replaced Staraptor with Weezing, interestingly enough. And he has that 1 defogger in Zapdos. But regardless, I'm just gonna lead off with Excelgor like I planned to, because I really want at least that 1 spike up for the Mewtwo, and among other things, like it just wears down his team really nicely. He goes for the Iron Head, brings me down to my Sash, and right here, I'm gonna Bug Buzz right here. The point of this is to find out if his Bisharp is choiced, and also to do damage to it if it tries to set up. And like I said, 1 spike is all I really needed, so I'm perfectly fine with this trade. Unfortunately, Bug Buzz gets the special defense drop and boosts his attack 2 stages. So that's really scary. And I was like, oh, if this ends up mattering, I'm gonna be really frustrated. But I'm able to scare out his Bisharp with the Darkrai. I click HP Fighting because I'm not messing around with that +2 threat. And he brings out the Weezing right here. Now I'm feeling pretty free to set up a substitute. That's not what I do. I go for the Dark Pulse. My bad. Because I must have calced it, and seeing that his Sludge Bomb would break my sub, I didn't go for it. So this Weezing's annoying. Like, once this thing's gone, my Clefable kind of goes in. So damage on this is nice. Damage on anything. He didn't really have a switch into this Pokemon, especially without Mewtwo Mega Evolved. He never had a switch into the begin with. What am I saying? It's a Darkrai, and I should just be able to 2-hit KO this Weezing right now. It didn't really do anything. Good nickname, but it didn't do anything. And now, seeing that my Darkrai isn't choiced, he knows his Mewtwo is going to be faster. He sends it out, clicks a Drain Punch, and that goes down. So I have to go into Clefable right here because I don't have any other switch-ins. I never had a switch-in to begin with, it's just that Clefable's the only one that can even take a hit at this point, kind of, and kill back, or has a chance to kill back. So I'm gonna let my Darkrai go down, and you'll see, this is just as planned. I'll take the Zen Headbutt, does just a little over half. Was that a crit? No. That's just the way it is sometimes. Yeah, so I hit the Mewtwo with a Moonblast, does a ton of damage, and he's dead on his next entry to Spikes. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm gonna see if I can reduce the quality of this stream. It's at 1080p right now, so maybe if I put it at 144, maybe the music will stop cutting out. Hopefully that works. Nope. Okay. Anyway, so I'm gonna bring out the Craggle right here to just pick this thing off with an Ice Beam, but he goes Bisharp, and that did 26. So the next one's gonna kill. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to switch into this thing because I'm scared of it setting up. And I don't want to get knocked off on anything either. Well, I have a Zmon and the Cultivar and Necrozma. Anyway, I can't switch because the Gyarados gives him a +2 boost. Necrozma takes super effective. I have to just hope he doesn't go for Sucker Punch. He gets it, he knocks out my Cryogonal. And although it doesn't look great, I'm down 2-5. I have a prime opportunity to set up right here. He's not gonna expect this, I don't think. So here we go. I'm gonna Autotomize first. I don't even think I get a Swords Dance off in this game. I don't need to. He's gonna switch out. I'm just gonna throw off the Brick Break. Thankfully, I don't get paralyzed, but I can just wear this thing down with a Photon Geyser. That's doing tons of damage. I don't need a Swords Dance. Down goes the Zapdos. Bisharp's gonna come and try to, and not even go. It's not even gonna go for the Sucker Punch. I just knock it out with a Brick Break. Kyurem. I calculate that Brick Break actually does more to this, so I'm gonna click that and take it out with the. Sorry, he's gonna take me out with the Fusion Flare as I go Gyarados. Oh, yeah, I think I said he only needed his dual stab. He definitely needed that Fusion Flare for my Necrozma this week. So I know Gyarados can live any one hit, and I'm gonna get my Dragon Dance off right here. But let me just explain a little bit more of the thought I put into this play. I knew that if he's Scarf, that's kind of the best case scenario for me. Sure, he outspeeds me on the next turn, even at +1, but 2 Fusion Flares is not going to kill my Gyarados. If he's not Scarfed, then a Draco doesn't kill, but I'm faster on the next turn and can kill him with any attack, really. And so the worst case scenario is that he goes for an Ice Beam and freezes me. That's the only thing that could really go wrong. As I click, he goes for another Fusion Flare. That's a crit. And Gyarados just chews that up, taking less than 50. I can Dragon Dance. I'll throw off the Continental Crush here, KOing this Kyurem. Mewtwo goes straight down. And Darmanitan is actually slower, so that wasn't Scarfed either. And that was I didn't, like, if that Darmanitan was Scarfed and had a Rock-type move, there was not much I could have done. So, a little fortunate on my end, but we do manage to pick up another win in the PUL, putting us at 3-2, so we're back to positive, which feels really nice. And this game really reminded me of like how I win games, which is just sticking to my game plan rather than playing reactively. I had 3, well, if you count sub as setup, this was a very offensive team, which is what I like. It's what I'm used to. I played to my comfort zone this week, and it worked out just because I managed to overwhelm my opponent with all my setup mods. So that's gonna be me next the later. With finally with a win. I feel like I haven't uploaded a win in forever. So yeah, that's nice. Next week we're going up against my good buddy Devil Gamer, coach of the Melbourne Star Wars. He's Australian. I think his team is also Australian. So that's gonna be a fun one. And I hope you guys like this new style of team builder. Please let me know down in the comments. That would be super appreciated. I know the video is a little longer, about 10 minutes longer than my usual videos. But, so yeah, let me know if that's worth it for you guys. Anyway, that's gonna be me, Dax, out, and I'll see you guys later.